Gosh. Thank y'all. Good to be here. Start you off with a song here I wrote for my daughter. She was on that rite of passage, pulling out of the driveway. In every life, there comes a time to leave everything and nothing behind. You're too young to go, but you're too old to stay. So you're on your way to find your wings and the song that you were born to sing. But on your way, remember you always have a home to come back to. With every step, you'll learn to dance to the rhythm of life. If you just take the chance, keep the wind at your back now and the sun on your face, then you're on your way to find who you are is both near and far. Hitch your wagon to a star and on your way, remember you always have a home to come back to. So pack your new dreams in your old car. Keep on believing, no matter where you are. You're where you belong, so seize the day. Hey. And be on your way. Your way to play your part. Seek the path that speaks to your heart, and on your way, remember you always have a home. Your wheels are rolling. Now get your wheels a rolling. Thank you. Y'all everything okay? Yeah. No, good. Well, strangely enough, that's a song. Even though I wrote it for my daughter a while back, it was wound up in a new movie called Buck Alamo that I'm in. I play myself in the movie. George Ensle, rich and famous singer-songwriter. Why do you always laugh when I say that? People always laugh at that. I'm 100 air. Sometimes 1,000 air. And I'm famous at home. My dog likes me. It's about a guy that's an aged out and kind of burned out singer-songwriter character, Buck Alamo, played by Sonny Carl Davis. Trying to make amends with his friends and his two daughters. A lot like the character in this song that, one of those guys that seem to deserve love the least and need love the most. They run into the sun, they stand out in the rain, a glutton for punishment, a friend to pain. They stay a little too high, a little too long, and a little too lost most times to find their way back home. Black sheep, the prodigal that's always on the run, living in the moment and dying to have fun. An old soul chasing rainbows and dancing their own dance. Black sheep always need a second chance. You know they're always calling in the middle of the night. They're always breaking down, thinking you can make it right. Their love is bittersweet, they're loyal to the end. They're their own worst enemy, your best friend. Black sheep, the prodigal that's always on the run, living in the moment and dying to have fun. An old soul chasing rainbows and dancing their own dance. Black sheep always need a second chance. When they get back on their feet, it's when they fall from grace. When they get it all planned out, that's when they lose their place. Sometimes they look a lot like the likes of you and me. Oh, taking all those wrong roads, just try to be free. Black sheep, prodigal that's always on the run, living in the moment and dying to have fun. An old soul chasing rainbows and dancing their own dance. Black sheep always need a second chance. Don't those black sheep need a second chance? Thank you. Wrote that song with Tony Ramey.
We like Tony Ramey.
We do. We love Tony Ramey. Talk about an old soul. Sweet old soul. This is a title cut to my latest record, and it's on the Puff Bunny label. Taylor Pye's label. Yeah. Taylor Pye's played here, hadn't she? And anybody remember the Pozo Seco Singers? Mm-hmm. The Dry Hole? She and a guy named Don Williams were the co-founders of the Pozo Seco Singers back in the 60s out of Corpus Christi. And she's the A&R and kind of the queen bee of this record label, Puff Bunny Records. And this is the title cut off my latest CD on Puff Bunny Records. those take your own advice songs. Now there's some things I'd like to change about myself. I got problems I can't blame on anybody else. I could do the work, make the world a little better place. Changing the big picture with little acts of faith. I'm gonna spread a little sunshine and spend a little more time showing sweet mercy and grace. Gonna find a way to make somebody's day, put a smile on a stranger's face. I'm gonna spend more time with the young and old ones and walk in my neighbor's shoes. And I'm gonna be the change I wanna see and be a better me. Gonna be a better me. Now there's a lot of good deeds I could do that aren't that hard. A lot of good seeds I could sow right in my own backyard. I could walk the walk and talk the talk for the greater good. Time is short, it's up to me to do everything I should. So I'm gonna share my blessings with those who have less and live with a bigger heart. Make a bigger difference in the long run by believing from the start. We're all God's children trying to find our way. I'm gonna be that light in the dark, and I'm gonna be the change I wanna see. Be a better me. Be a better me. And I'm gonna love out loud and let love be what living's all about. How about that for a concept? Hug a little longer and a little stronger, show my family how much I care. Stop and smell the flowers and laugh a little louder, say a little better prayer. I'm gonna look to the future and honor the past while celebrating every day, being the change I wanna see, being a better me. Being a better me. Being a better me. Yeah. Thank you. How's that? Oh yeah, we'll do that song. We'll do that song. Got these two capos on here, see? As if one isn't enough, you know. You get two capos on here. You know, if you have a capo on your dash in Nashville, you can park in the handicap spots. My wife and I are gappers. Y'all ever heard that expression? Gappers, grandparents as parents. Yeah, it's quite a few of us here in this country and really all over the world. But I had to go back and learn some of the old nursery rhymes, and I was going full circle here. Remember that one? In a Greyhound station, a suitcase by her side. She just turned 18 years old. Daddy's little girl met a boy who did her wrong, and now she's starting to show. But there's a place she can go to raise her baby boy, where he can feel the love she'd always known. I asked where she was going. As teardrops filled her eyes, she said, I'm trying to get back home. Home, family pictures hanging on the wall, where you play outside until you hear your mama call. Climbing fences and running free, smell of honeysuckle in the evening breeze. Home, home. In his camo fatigues, on the shoulder of the road, he'd just turned 24. He shipped out a country boy, came back a fighting man, the only enemy he has left in the war. But he's heading to a place where he knows he'll be safe, to try and find the innocence that he'd known. His old bedroom is waiting, so he's holding a sign that says trying to get back home. Home, mama's cooking, drifting through the back door screen. Daddy in his easy chair and grandma on the front porch swing. Fireflies are dancing to a cricket sound. The peaceful moonlight wraps the love all around home. Home. The bus driver pulled over, told him climb on in. He'd been infantry and a Vietnam vet. And when he saw that 1,000-yard stare in that young man's eyes, he knew he'd seen some things that he had to forget. The only vacant seat on that bus was down the aisle, next to that young girl, all alone. When he asked where she was going, she told him with a smile, I'm on my way back home. How about you? Thank you. Okay, by request, Randy wanted to hear this song. Now, this is what I call my Roger Miller meets Mark Twain song. I know. Wouldn't that be a trip? On the courthouse square in the summertime, shade of a white oak tree, the old men sat on benches, living history, whittling and spitting tobacco juice into coffee cans, solving the problems of the world as only old men can. At the cafe across the street, I told the waitress them men seemed to be the picture of contentment, living out an old man's dream. She laughed and said it wasn't always that way. You might not believe, but just a while back, all that sat on them benches was white oak leaves.
All started when some ladies got together after church, decided to clean up the courthouse square, so they went straight to work on a plan to ban spitting and whittling. They's gonna put up signs, no whittling or spitting, $100 fine. Signs went up and the men went home till the wives started to shout, "You're underfoot and in the way," and kicked their sorry spitting cans out. The old men had nowhere to go where they might congregate. The barbershop was way too small and they was too loud for this cafe. So they met down at Lucy's bar, started drinking right at 10, playing dominoes and checkers until the alcohol kicked in. Then they'd fight about whose turn it was and called each other cheats. Lucy called their wives and said, "Come get 'em or I'm calling the police." No one knows where those signs went. They disappeared overnight. Lester said he saw some old ladies pull them up in the courthouse lights. Sure enough, the next day, them old men was back again, sitting on them benches, spitting and whittling. Now the moral to this story, the message in this song, says sometimes there are some things best just left alone, like feral hogs, sleeping dogs, snakes, and mama hens, and old men sitting on the courthouse square, spitting and whittling. People really like that song. My favorite Roger Miller, well, I have two favorite Roger Miller stories. One's about when he was stopped for weaving, and the police officer came up to his window and said, "Can I see your driver's license?" And Roger Miller said, "Can I play with your gun?" And the other one was when he was with Larry Gatlin up in New York City, and they were coming out of a restaurant, and he said, we were walking out to the car, and he said, I kept on walking, and when I turned around, I noticed that Roger wasn't there anymore. And he said, I walked back inside, and he was standing in the lobby looking at the thermostat, and he said, "God, my God, I've lost 70 pounds. Anyhow, we're moving right along. We'll give you a little edutainment here. Let me adjust this. This is acting weird. This is one of my new toys. It's better. It's a song I wrote with my buddy Richard Dobson. My name is Bigfoot Wallace. My brother died at Goliad, and I come west of Texas, and I was fighting mad. I was gonna shoot old Santa Ana right between the eyes to avenge my brother's murder. I would not be denied. Then in 1842, when I got my chance, we was captured in the town of Mir down on the Rio Grande. We escaped into the desert, but surrendered in the end. They played El Gallo as they lined up our men. Beans from a clay jar, one by one we reached inside. Draw a white bean and you lived. Draw a black bean and you died. Well, some men wrote their mothers, and some men wrote their wives. I guess my luck was running strong, the bean I drew was white. 1 in 10 drew black beans and faced the firing squad. 17 against the wall, prepared to meet their God. Beans from a clay jar, one by one we reached inside. Draw a white bean and you live, a black bean and you die. After that I cleaned out horse thieves coming up from Mexico. I drove a stage through Comanche country all the way to El Paso. And I got some revenge in the Mexican-American War. And the one who held the clay jar started evening up the score. Beans from a clay jar, one by one we reached inside. A white bean you live, a black bean. I was a Texas Ranger. I wore that badge with pride. And the town of Bigfoot, Texas is where I now reside. People come from miles around to hear about my life. I'd not be here to tell it, but the bean I drew was white. My name is Bigfoot Wallace. My brother died at Goliad. I come west to Texas. I was fighting mad. I'm a big believer in the healing power of music. I work with all kinds of different communities, some special needs communities, some foster children. Work with Soldier Songs, which is a wonderful foundation that was started by Dustin Welch, and working with vets. Swan Songs is a great foundation that was started by Christine Albert in Austin, playing songs for people that are in hospice. And musical last wishes, they call it. And I'm going to get this straightened out here. Oh, I know, that's what I do. It's like that. I think music is big medicine. I know music is big medicine. And I was told that a family member was going to be put into a memory care unit. Inspired this song, thinking about memories. And here's a song I'll paint for you. The sky's shining sapphire blue, slipping through shimmering trees onto a river in a childhood breeze. There's clear water, soft and clean, white limestone sleeping beneath emerald green, sunlight dancing like diamond shine. I'll sing you back home in waltzing time. You can listen and somehow see the colors of sweet memories, flying you to a perfect day where all your cares will wash away. So close your eyes and hear beauty ring, and no peace in this picture that I sing. See the divine light in your mind and find the child you left behind. You can listen and somehow see the colors of sweet memories, flying you to a perfect day where all your cares will wash away. Here's a song I'll paint for you. The sky is shining sapphire blue, slipping through shimmering trees onto a river in a childhood breeze. Thank you. Well, I had a request to do a couple songs. They're a couple of your favorites. I hope they're a couple of mine. Ah, yes. Yes, they have a voluntary cover charge. If you want to leave the building, you got to feed the kitty. I did, by the way, pay off my daughter's student loan after 21 years. Can you believe that? Yeah, you can. It's. But now my granddaughter is going off to college, and since I'm a gapper, cough it up, folks. Unless you want me to not do this anymore, because if I don't come home with some booty, my wife won't let me keep doing this. No, my wife and I, I love my wife so much. I told her the other day, if you ever leave me, I'm going with you. That's right. What?
She asked me how you get a request, and I just say, "Hey George, we play Billy Bob's Backyard during the show sometime." Knee deep in the river. Yeah, knee deep in the river. That's a good one. Knee deep in the river.
Well, we got two Billy Bobs and two knee deeps.
All I need is awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Grandma's aprons.
Okay, we'll get to them.
Wind up the outburst you show.
and just write it down on that $100 bill and put it in that little jar over there.
Maybe here till midnight.
That's right. I could stick around. Thank you. Oh, shucks. Well, this was inspired by a neighbor I had in South Austin, which is very much different than North Austin. For example, we have this thing called Large Trash Collection Day or Bulky Item Day twice a year where in North Austin, you take all the junk out of your backyard and put it in your front yard, and the city comes by with dump trucks and hauls it off to the landfill. In South Austin, you take all the junk out of your backyard and put it in your front yard, and your neighbor takes all the junk out of your front yard and puts it in his backyard. I call it redneck recycling. That's what inspired this song. This is a sing-along, too. I mean, you have to sing. See if you can do this. Hillbilly heaven. Try that. Hillbilly heaven. That'll work. Billy Bob wears a ball cap backwards and aviator shades. Black grease neath his fingernails and a little on his face. With a semi-toothless smile, he said, "Howdy do." I was having second thoughts about what I was about to do. Yeah, he's a shade tree mechanic, and my alternator was gone. He said, "If you brung one, in an hour I'll have her on." Well, I said I had her rebuilt, sitting in my trunk. He said, "Pull around back." That's when I saw Billy's jungle of junk. Billy Bob's backyard is a pack rat's paradise, a redneck collection from a Bubba's way of life. It's hillbilly heaven with an old rock standing guard. Woof, over all them white trash treasures filling Billy Bob's backyard. 4 Skeeter breeding tires leaning up against an ugly shed. Studebaker pickup up on blocks with grass growing in the bed. Tin roof and warped plywood making a crooked fence. Slimy water standing in a John boat that's got about 100 dents. Rusty rebar and bags of saccharine that got wet and turned to stone. Motorless lawnmowers by a clothesline haywired on to his girlfriend's Harley tank top and his Harley tee. A dead water heater and 2 lawn chairs with ripped out strap seats. Oh, Billy Bob's backyard is a pack rat's paradise. A redneck collection from a Bubba's way of life. Now it's hillbilly heaven with an old rock standing guard. Whoa, over all them white trash treasures filling Billy Bob's backyard. Beer cans, beer cans, beer cans thrown in scattered piles. Chickens pecking in the dirt to an 8-track playing Born to be Wild. That's them chickens. Billy cleared away just enough space to squeeze my car between a satellite dish and a bird nest and a broke down sewing machine. Wait a minute. Satellite with a bird nest and a broke down what? Washing machine.
satellite with a bird nest and a broke down washing machine. I was leaning on a chopper frame, watching him sweat and cuss, neath a torn tarp strung from his mobile home doing old Volkswagen bus. Our Billy Bob's backyard is a pack rat's paradise. A redneck collection from above. Here we go. Hillbilly heaven with an old rot standing guard. Over all them white trash treasures, filling Billy Bob's backyard. Billy, give him a beer. Well, somebody had to write it. You know, yeah.
We've known people like that.
Well, it's either people a guy walks up to me and when he hears that song after I get off stage, he says one of two things: I know that guy, or I am that guy. And the other day, a guy walked up to me and said, I married that guy. Billy Bob. This is a true story. This happened to my brother in Syracuse, New York. One of the coldest places in the continental United States. Johnny was skipping school that frozen winter's morn. If he'd have played it straight, he'd be safe and warm in the little country schoolhouse. But the lesson learned that day would come from one he'd least expect would ever know the way. Bridge was all iced over and the railing was gone. Johnny slipped off, flew down into the frozen pond. The morning stillness shattered with a crashing sound. He broke through the ice like a rock, went sinking down. He kicked his way back to the top, started to shout, "Help! Somebody save me!" Trying to claw his way out, but the ice just broke away, and his legs turned to stone. The freezing water soaked his clothes and froze him to the bone. Just then a passerby showed up on the bridge. He saw the situation. He thought of all the risks. Well, if I try to save him, I might drown myself. I wish this burden would fall on someone else. Then out from underneath the bridge came Jake, the town wino. He walked into the pond as Johnny slipped below. He moved through the icy waters, reaching out his hand, snatching Johnny from the jaws of death, watched by the other man. Jake wrapped Johnny in his blanket and he carried him back home like a ragged old Boo Radley, stumbling but strong. The father met him at the door, took his shivering child from a most unlikely savior with a toothless smile. The dad offered Jake his money for saving his son's life. He said, "No, thank you, sir. I just try to do what's right in the eyes of the Lord." As they watched him walk away, he's an angel with a broken wing, Johnny heard his father say. Johnny learned mercy's lesson from the one they called the fool. The passerby learned about living out the golden rule. And a small town country barkeep learned a dad will pay to see. From now on, Jake the hero always drinks for free. Johnny was skipping school that frozen winter's morn. He'd have played it straight, now he'd be safe and warm in the little country schoolhouse. But the lesson learned that day would come from one he'd least expect would ever know the way. I asked my mom what my brother was like when he was a kid. She said, well, he liked to stretch the truth. He liked to bend the rules. And when he got older, he became a lawyer. Okay. You wanted to hear a joke. This is from my buddy Charlie Ross, who, by the way, if Charlie has never played here, has he?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
Okay, my Minnesota buddy. I just did the Corpus Christi Songwriter Festival with him, and he told me this new joke. They have a thing up there, very dry sense of humor in Minnesota. They have a thing up there, these two characters, Ole and Lena. Lena being the wife and Ole, the husband. And Ole dies, and Lena goes to the newspaper editor and says, I need to write an obituary for Ole. And the editor says, I'm so sorry that he passed away. And he says, well, it's $1 a word. And she said, well, $2. What would you like me to write? Ole died. He says, I knew Ole, and he was a good man, and I liked him very much, and I really would like to honor him a little bit better than that. So I'll give you 5 words for $2. And she said, okay. He said, what 5 words do you want to put in his obituary? She said, Ole died, boat for sale. That's dry. I mean, dry. Oh, yeah. Real dry. Well, like I was saying earlier, I'll do this song. We'll take a break. It'll be a short break. Right?
And you can buy George's CD and take him home with you.
You can take me home with you. And not have to feed me breakfast or hear any more jokes. I don't know if you've heard this song. This is a newer one. Smell like WD-40 and Old Spice aftershave. His suburban sanctuary, the original man cave. It's where he kept his memories and where a lot of mine were made. At the end of his driveway, I spent my Saturdays in Grandpa's garage, where I learned about love between an old man and a kid, like an old dog and a pup. And I got my life lessons sitting on the tailgate of his Dodge, and all the tools I needed in Grandpa's garage. grand old man's museum tacked up snapshots from the war. John 3:16 and a Polaroid of Grandma on the door. His workbench stood like a shrine for good. He taught the golden rule and how to measure twice and cut once. It was my church and school. It was Grandpa's garage where I learned about love between an old man and a kid, like an old dog and a pup. I got my life lessons sitting on the tailgate of his Dodge and all the tools I needed in Grandpa's garage. He took the time to show me how to use my hands, and he took the time to listen when I didn't understand. He could make things just like new when my world fell apart. He fixed my broken back and my broken heart in Grandpa's garage, where I learned about love between an old man and a kid, like an old dog and a pup. I got my life lessons sitting on the tailgate of his Dodge and all the tools I needed in Grandpa's garage. Got all the tools I needed right there in Grandpa's garage.
All right. Let's take a short break. Sounds good. Thank you all.